So you're saying there are continents we don't know about?
Do you think there's just 7? Just 7? That's what they told you. That's what they want you to believe. But Antarctica? It's hiding something bigger. Way bigger. Beyond Antarctica, there are lands we've never seen, civilizations that have been hidden from us. Why do you think access is so restricted? Since 1959, no country has allowed free exploration. No one. You can't just go there. You can't just walk in. That's not by accident. Behind those ice walls, there's technology beyond anything we know, resources they don't want us to have, life forms we've never been told about. And the people in power? They know it. They've been there. They've studied it. But they keep it locked away, far, far away from us. You think the world map they gave us is real? We've been lied to. They keep us trapped inside a fake world while they take everything for themselves.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Say this before. One of the most important symbols in the old Celtic Druidic system was a magic wand, like Merlin the magician with his magic wand. That's Celtic Druidic. Magic wands were always made out of holly wood. Okay? And they're still working their magic on us in Hollywood. The system that we are under is the most manipulating, exploiting system that's ever been put together. But I'll tell you one thing. The Steven Spielbergs and the George Lucases and the Michael Eisners and all the guys that run the entertainment world, all of them are many things, but stupid is not one of them. These guys are Class A, top of the line intellectuals. They know the name of the tune. They know exactly how to manipulate your thinking. They have something called programmed music. And you go in and most people never think when they go to a movie or watch a television show. They never think about it. Who writes scripts? Scripts are written by scriptwriters. Scriptwriters scribble scripts. And consequently, the scribbling scriptwriters were called scribes. So when Jesus denounces the Pharisees and the scribes were the people who scribbled scripts. And consequently, the religious writers of the day, those who wrote all of those glorious religious writings, were all the scribes. They're being paid money by the system to write all of their silly little scribes, all of their silly little stuff that the masters wanted. Why do you think the King James Version is called the authorized version of the Bible? It's the one King James authorized. He didn't authorize you to go doing too much research on your own. You get your head cut off. Consequently, we go back to Yahweh. I mean, have you ever wondered why we call God the Father? You ever thought about that? I mean, women, some of the women's liberals were saying could be a God the Mother, you know. I don't know. But the point being is that why do we call God the Father? It's because of rain. Rain is why we call God the Father. Because in the old ancient Hindu, if you go back into the old Sanskrit writings of the ancient Hindu religion, you will find that the divine presence of God, the Most High, was referred to in their language, in the old Sanskrit language of India. God was referred to as rain, R-A-I-N, rain. And consequently, the idea was that the earth was our mother, Mother Nature, Mother Earth. And Mother Nature gets impregnated with God's, the Father's, sacred fluid that comes and falls on the earth and impregnates Mother Nature, because everything grows.
Accidents that changed the world forever. In 1956, a company that sold wallpaper cleaning paste was about to go bankrupt until they realized kids loved playing with the paste, so they rebranded the whole company as Play-Doh. In 1928, a scientist named Alexander Fleming left a petri dish of bacteria out by accident. When he came back, he noticed a certain type of mold was killing the bacteria. That mold was called Penicillium notatum, and it led to the discovery of the first antibiotic, which we know as penicillin. This discovery changed medicine forever and saved millions of lives. In 1943, a naval engineer named Richard James was working on stabilizing equipment for ships when he accidentally knocked a spring off a shelf. To his surprise, the spring started bouncing and moving on its own. Inspired by this, he turned it into a toy, and in 1945, the Slinky was born. In 1945, an engineer was working with radar technology when he noticed that a candy bar in his pocket had melted. Curious, he began experimenting with microwaves and realized they could cook food quickly. This led to the invention of the microwave oven, which transformed how we cook and heat food.
So what I've heard just recently in the past year is that the Galactic Federation spoke with, say, the shadow government or the collective governments on planet Earth to say, no matter what this is happening, no matter what, we're coming here and you're getting to this place of being this galactic civilization. And so you either tell your people about this or it's just going to happen. So now what we're seeing, especially with a lot of the hearings, right, and different groups and organizations that have been formed, and the government's coming out and saying, yeah, UAPs are real, kind of, right? But they're trying to get ahead of the narrative. They're trying to control the cosmic narrative so that when that eventually does happen, they're still in control of how it's perceived.
Interesting.
Right?
Now, this is scary. It's said, but not proven, that every single Disney princess is supposed to represent a disorder. Psychologists took a study down, and they said in every Disney princess there's a clear disorder that they have. Firstly, Belle was captured and put in a castle, so this is called Stockholm Syndrome, which means you fall in love with your captor. That's why she fell in love with the Beast, because he is the one that captured her. Ariel. If you notice, Ariel has a big ship and there's so many things around her, so she's a hoarder, and that's a form of OCD. She has so much stuff on her ship, but she doesn't throw it away. Another easy one is Alice in the Wonderland. She sees caterpillars walking around and imagines a lot of things that aren't there, which is basically schizophrenia. Crazy, right? Elsa and Anna, they're really reckless. Elsa is the cold sister who has a short temper, and Anna is the warm sister that is kind all the time, which is why the sisters are thought to represent bipolar. Did you ever notice this when you watched?
Weird facts about Roman emperors. Elagabalus became Roman emperor at the age of 14. The teen was openly gay. He liked cross-dressing, and he was said to pose as a female at local brothels. His lifestyle caused a lot of controversy in Rome. At the age of 18, Elagabalus was assassinated in a plot arranged by his grandmother, Julia Maesa.
Yeah, I got a package. No! Get the dog!
Run.
So it could be 1727 now?
It just could be. What if nearly 300 years of history never happened? Stay with me. In 1991, a German historian named Hermann Illig proposed something that shakes the very foundation of time itself, the phantom time hypothesis. His claim? The years 614 to 911 AD were completely fabricated. They don't exist. They were inserted into history, and we've been living in a false timeline ever since. Now, who would do this, and why? Enter Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Three powerful figures who supposedly conspired to alter historical records and manipulate the calendar. Why? Because Otto III wanted to rule in the symbolic year 1000 AD, a number that carries power, prophecy, and legitimacy. But instead of waiting, they fast-forwarded history itself. Now, think about this. We have written records from this missing period, sure. But where are the artifacts, the architecture, the undeniable physical proof? You'd expect 297 years to leave more behind. Yet it's eerily scarce. And if this sounds impossible, just remember, Tartaria was erased from history. If they can erase entire civilizations, why not rewrite time itself?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
UFO caught on camera during the all-female Blue Origin missions.
We haven't seen it. I want to see it myself. 1, 2, 3.
What happened to all the Anunnaki and Thoth and all them?
They had 2 wars. The first Pyramid War almost eradicated them, but they started over again. The second Pyramid War, bad. That one almost decimated the planet. You see how when you look at Earth, like from Google Earth, you see a lot of those big deserts going across. People say, oh, that's just natural geological formations over time. This has become an arid desert. No, that's war. If you go to Egypt and stick your hand deep in the sands, eventually you're going to come up with balls of glass. How can you get glass and sand? 3,000 plus degree temperatures. You go to Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley, what are you going to see there? Dead bodies still in the streets from thousands of years ago, still holding hands, never been scavenged. The buildings that they lived in turned to glass. How can that be? We're talking about 3,000 plus degree temperature weapons fire. We're talking about this war that happened in the ancient past. Amun-Ra wanted to continue he started the first war to take over the earth early because he didn't want to wait for his processional period to rule. And then this is the guy who says, you must say amen after everything. Say amen. Everything you give thanks for, you're saying amen to him. So when you say amen, you're thanking him, by the way. A brutal killing guy. But anyway, so he says, it's a fact. He started one war to take over early, which he won. He then started a second war to stay in power. And in that second war, he escaped. He was almost killed, but he left his kingship and the finances of the kingdom to the Ra-Kam, and R-A-K-A-M. But that translates into modern words. Kam translates into childs. So now you translate Ra-Childs, Ra-Child.
Oh! During the Ice Age, the ocean levels dropped, exposing the Bering Strait land bridge between Asia and what is now Alaska. Our ancestors who come out of Africa go into Europe. Some stayed, others kept wandering. Some stayed low above the Mediterranean, others went high. They populate Asia. They keep walking because there's a land bridge there, and they enter North America. From there, that's kind of the only way you can go is south at that point. The Ice Age ends. The glaciers melt back into the oceans, closing the land bridge. stranding a branch of the human species for 10,000 years. Now you have Europe, Asia, Africa, and North and South America, and they know nothing of one another. Had this continued, this is how you speciate. So 10,000 years is not enough to grow 3 heads or 12 fingers, but our species is separate. Now, Columbus crosses the Atlantic, makes contact with humans. This is the first time that has happened in 10,000 years. We have rejoined 2 branches of the human species.
This will blow your mind. If Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, then who took the photo from outside? Why have we never returned to the moon, even though we now have technology thousands of times more advanced? If humans evolved from apes, why are apes still apes and haven't evolved as well? Why did 56 countries sign a treaty to do almost nothing in Antarctica? What is it they don't want us to know? Why can't planes fly over Antarctica? How did NASA manage to lose the footage of the moon landing, one of the most important events in human history? How were the pyramids and other massive structures built perfectly symmetrical and incredibly detailed when people at that time lived in huts and used the most basic tools? How did they manage it without machines or advanced technology? Why are there ancient Egyptian artworks that look like depictions of spaceships? How do we explain the remains of giant bones that have been discovered? What about the stories of giants in ancient texts, including the Bible? Why does ancient Egyptian art, along with other cultures, depict the shape of a pine cone that just so happens to look very similar to the human? Why do so many cultures across the world have legends of dragons, even though they were separated by thousands of years in vast distances? And why are dragons also mentioned in the Bible?
In 1989, Bob Lazar shattered the veil of secrecy around Area 51, but his most shocking revelations weren't about the infamous base itself. It was what lay just south of it, Area S4, a highly classified facility buried near Papoose Lake. According to Lazar, S4 was home to 9 extraterrestrial crafts, each with unique propulsion systems far beyond human comprehension. Lazar claimed he was part of a covert team tasked with reverse engineering these alien vehicles, specifically focusing on their gravity-defying technology. The crafts, he said, used Element 115, a mysterious material that could warp space-time, allowing the ships to bend gravity itself. At the time, Lazar's claim seemed absurd, as Element 115 was unknown to science. Yet in 2003, it was officially synthesized, giving eerie credibility to his story. Lazar described the crafts as smooth, saucer-like discs, with no visible seams or rivets, as if they were molded from a single piece of metal. The technology was so advanced, it appeared almost magical, able to manipulate gravity, making sudden, impossible turns and vanishing into thin air. But Lazar's revelations came at a cost. He faced relentless government harassment, his records erased, his credibility attacked. Many dismissed him as a hoaxer, yet his claims have stood the test of time. To this day, S4 remains a ghost on the map, unacknowledged by the government, but whispered about in conspiracy circles. If Lazar was telling the truth, the U.S. military possesses alien technology capable of revolutionizing physics itself, or worse, turning it into the ultimate weapon. Could the secrets of S4 hold the key to humanity's future, or its downfall? Lazar's claims have ignited endless debates and inspired countless discussions about the existence of extraterrestrial life.
Does anybody else feel like this shit just didn't happen? I get not all parties agree on everything, but I think we can all collectively agree that this was ridiculous. I mean, the launch in itself, and this is my own personal opinion, okay, and I'm sure millions of other individuals agree with me as well, just didn't look real. And the craziest part is the fact that I took some of the images from the flight, right, and I put them into different AI models. I asked them to analyze it, and I know it's based upon speculation, I get that. But it came up with the same exact answers, so I'm like, But then you have the fact that you're only in space, in quotations, for 11 minutes, and somehow you're more infatuated with the cameras instead. There better be a South Park episode about this, labeled Rich Women in Space. And then you have Katy Perry getting out and kissing the ground and saying that she feels more connected to love than ever before. That in itself really took me out, and that's not even the worst part. Everybody saw the live stream, okay? Did you see what happened before Jeff Bezos opened the door? I mean, I don't see a lot of people talking about that or questioning the fact that it is Jeff Bezos to begin with. Which to me, that thing looks like a fucking cardboard cutout. The 30K tits at Coachella look more sturdy. I mean, the door flopped open like a fucking porta potty, people. And then you have the cameras getting a close-up of Oprah crying. That shit took me the fuck out. There's so much more I could say about this, but I'm pretty sure at this point that everybody agrees with me. I mean, I'm honestly curious as to how everybody else feels about watching that.
The most popular book in the world has sold over 5 billion copies worldwide, yet very few people actually know how it really explains our origin story. And yes, it really does go there, and a little bit there too. So, it all starts with God. He is everything and everywhere and everywhen. But there isn't anything yet, so he made heaven and earth which were formless and very dark. So God said, let there be light, and boom, now we can see, which is good. He separated the dark from the light, calling them night and day, and we just had our first day. Day 2, God puts water everywhere and separates the water above from the water below with a firmament, which he calls the sky. Day 3, the water below settles and reveals land beneath it. God calls this land earth and the newly settled water sea, and also puts plants, trees, and fruits everywhere. Now it was good, for now. Day 4, God adds lights to the firmament. A greater light that was in charge of the day and a lesser light for the night, the sun and the moon. Oh, and also stars at night. This is a biblically accurate depiction of the earth as found in the Bible, so there it is. Day 5, now he puts sea creatures and birds everywhere and tells them to multiply so the seas and the skies are always filled with life. This was also good. Day 6, we get land animals, wild animals, tame ones, reptiles, bugs, you name it. Then God was like, you know what? Let's make a very special one called human beings, who will rule over all the creatures in the sea, air, and land and can eat all the plants. Oh, and they also might be immortal and will never die. So he took dust from the earth, blew into its nostrils, and gave life to the first man ever. Once again, this was good. Very good. Day 7, God takes a rest from all his work and makes this a very special day of rest for everyone. But when he made the man, he actually put him in a garden that he planted in the east, somewhere close to the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, but no one really knows exactly where. He called it the Garden of Eden and told the man to take care of it. He can do whatever he wants, just never ever ever eat from this tree right here. That's the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and if you eat from it, you die. That was his only rule. But the man seemed lonely, so God wanted to give him a helper. While the man was sleeping, God sneaks out one of his ribcage bones, and with that bone, he makes a woman. And they were both naked and totally chill about it. Now in the garden, there was a snake who could talk, and was also the sword of the devil. It was a cunning snake that tricks the woman into eating a fruit from the forbidden tree by telling her it'll give her special god powers. She also picks another fruit from it, gives it to the man, and he eats it too. All of a sudden, they both got super self-conscious about being naked, so they made clothes out of fig leaves and hid from God when he came around. God was all like, hey, why y'all hiding? And the man says, I don't know, I just feel kind of weird being naked around you now. Now God's all like, whoa, how do you know what naked means? Did you eat from that tree I told you not to eat from? The man admits, yeah, I did, but she made me do it. And the woman's like, okay, my bad, that snake tricked me. So we have the first sin of mankind, which is bad, and thus started God's quest to save humanity from sin. He punishes the woman by making giving birth super painful for the rest of eternity, and also tells them they're not immortal anymore and will now die from old age. Turns out the man's name is Adam, and he names his wife Eve. God makes them both clothes and kicks them out of the Garden of Eden for disobeying him. And the first thing Adam and Eve do after getting banished is make babies. She gives birth and calls the first one Cain and the second one Abel, two brothers. God liked Abel more because he was more loyal to him, but he told Cain not to get jealous or anything like that. So naturally, Cain tells Abel to follow him into a field and ends his life out of jealousy. Another sin. God curses Cain to wander the earth, and then Adam has another son with Eve named Seth. Eventually, Seth has a son, which starts a long lineage of births from those kids and those kids' kids and so on. After about 7 generations, a son named Noah is born, who turns out to be a pretty good guy. Now at this point, humans started multiplying like crazy all over Earth. Men were running around taking wives and having children with all of them. Among them were a people called the Nephilim, who were born of the sons of God and the daughters of men, which is often interpreted to mean fallen angels that intermingled with humans, but this topic is highly debated. Oh, and these Nephilim were suspected to be giants as well. God sees this and realizes that humans were starting to get a little out of control. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna clean wipe all living things on Earth and just restart everything from scratch. Except for this guy Noah. He's a pretty good guy. As the Earth fills with more corruption, God tells Noah to build a giant ark because he's gonna flood the Earth and destroy everyone on it. God promises that Noah, his wife, his sons, and his sons' wives will all be spared in the ark, and tells them to also gather 2 of every animal on Earth to bring onto the ark as well. Land animals, birds, reptiles, everything. And so Noah builds it, it starts raining, he, his family, and all the animals get on the ark. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights as the ark sailed above the flood and everyone on Earth died. After 150 days, the water subsided and the ark rested on top of a mountain. After 40 more days, Noah opens the window and sends out a dove to do some recon, which came back with an olive leaf, meaning the waters have subsided enough for trees to grow and the earth was now dry. Noah leaves the ark with his family, all the animals, and builds an altar, which God likes. He likes it so much that he promises he will never flood the earth again, which he calls a covenant, and that rainbows will forever be reminders of this covenant. He tells Noah and his family to multiply and repopulate the earth. So Noah and his sons get to business, having kids, and their kids have kids, and so on, and many tribes and cities came up from these generations. Everyone spoke the same language and communicated with each other very well. In one of the cities, a few people got together and were like, hey, you know what? Let's build a super tall, magnificent tower. This tower will be so amazing because its top will reach into heaven and we will be so great because of it. They call it the Tower of Babel. God saw this and thought these people were being a little bit too prideful and arrogant. So he confuses everyone by making them all speak different languages so they don't understand each other anymore, and scattered them across the earth so they can no longer work on building this tower. Everyone continued having kids and their family lineages kept growing. About 10 generations later, a son named Abram is born. And this man right here, well, he was the beginning of everything else.
What are these lights? What are these objects? Who or what is controlling them? What are they doing? Could it be a message? Could it be a warning? Could it be alien beings? Are we really ready for the truth? United States scientists have now figured out how to create portals. The technology is top secret, kept confidential. Now watch the video in slow motion as the portal appears.
Someone had asked AI, what does the universe truly look like? And they wanted a picture. And this is what they gave them. Now hold on real quick. I zoomed in on this shit. Now I want y'all to peep this shit. This is like a different realm right here, right? And then you have a realm right here. Peep this though. This is supposed to be all of the different like star systems or whatever. But you know what I noticed in this shit, y'all? How there's boundaries and how there's a flat plane right there. You can see that, right? Now you know they be trying to tell us, bro. That's what AI is meant to do. Artificial intelligence. They're telling us that there are beings on the outside of this skirt that's looking inside. Look, you can even see that there's cities and everything on the outside. And then if you look at the picture different, it's looking inwards. It's not a circle, like they're looking inwards, yo. I've been trying to tell y'all. Wake up!
I've read every fucking theory on how they built those pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza has 2,300,000 stones in it. They weigh between 2 and 80 tons. Some of them are cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. That pyramid is shaped perfectly. Like if you fucked up like a quarter inch there, a half inch here, by the time you get to the top, that thing's a mess. But meanwhile, it's not. It's also perfectly aligned to true north, south, east, and west. And they're not really sure how old it is. They date it to 2,500 BC, but that's just because of organic particles that they pulled from inside stones. But they also say that they probably could have sealed those stones over time.
ايوه يا شباب بجنانه. ايوه بعد ظهر.
America's downfall sits right over the horizon. Keep your eyes on your surroundings. There is a lot going on behind closed doors. There is a target being set on every single one of our backs right now. You've become a pawn in a game of chess, and soon the US is going to find out that they are no longer going to be the winner. Innocent women and children laying on the ground lifeless because of the support of Israel and US airstrikes. This excuse of bringing up US aid and saving money, all while spending millions more fighting a useless war in the Middle East once again. The government has once again proven where their intentions lie, while inflation rises and stocks once again begin to plummet. This government has proven time and time again that another nation is more important than its own citizens. Citizens that didn't ask for another war. Citizens that thought that they voted in a peacemaker. And now watch as more innocent American lives are lost in the process of supporting a nation that would not do the same for us, pushing us further into debt while groceries become unobtainable and Americans are barely able to even survive. But still, while you continue to sit in privilege while failing to recognize who your actual enemy is, you still willingly show support for what you don't seem to consider to be a genocide. So many of you don't even know the truth behind 9/11 in itself, but yet you act so superior as if you have life all figured out. You've been lied to for your entire existence, all while they continue to play with your emotions while talking about releasing shit like the Epstein files, or what they consider to be the truth about JFK. But I bet you won't find one group's name pop up in that conversation. The downfall of the West is right over the horizon, and soon you'll see a whole different reality around you. One far more different than the comfortable one of which you choose to reside in. Now is time to take a stand. Now is time to make our voices be heard. Now is time to find a greater purpose for humanity. And if we fail to be able to do that, then every single one of us deserves every single thing that happens to us in the end. God be with you all, because soon you're going to be coming face to face with a very harsh reality.